Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Not Your Average Fangirl.
I'm your host, Grace.
And I'm your host, Addison, and today's episode is all about the originals.
We've been wanting to do another kind of TVD themed episode, and we haven't talked about the originals yet, so literally this episode is all about the originals.
Yeah, so it's basically going to be kind of like our TVD episode that we did, but just all about the originals. So we're talking about ships, characters, storylines, villains, everything that you guys want to know about what we like and don't like about the originals. We're going to be basically just telling you guys and chatting about it. So let's get right into it.
Previously on Not Your Average Fangirl. Okay, so for shows that I've been watching, obviously it's been a while since we've done an episode. I feel like literally it's only been 2 weeks, a week. I don't know. Anyways, I've been watching Pretty Little Liars. I'm so obsessed with it. I think I mentioned in another episode how I was scared to watch it when I was younger, but I'm so invested. I'm basically on season 2, and I'm also watching Vampire Diaries, and but mostly Pretty Little Liars and Roswell, New Mexico.
But I just started Young Sheldon, got put on Netflix, so I started that. And I really like it. It's a fun background show. It's kind of like The Big Bang Theory or like Modern Family or something. It's just a good background kind of show. And then I'm still rewatching Grey's Anatomy, and
Classic.
I'm watching My Life with the Walter Boys on Netflix, which is kind of like The Summer I Turned Pretty, but not as good. I don't know. I'm watching it just because it's entertaining, but honestly, in my opinion, I'm kind of going on a rant here, but I don't like either of the brothers. I don't like either of them. I think they're both red flags, so that's my thoughts on the show. I'm on episode 8, I think, so I'll update you guys next week after I finish it what my full thoughts are, but right now, it's entertaining, but there's no good options. No good options.
I've been seeing people post about it, so maybe I should watch it too, and then we can talk about it.
And then you can decide what team you're on.
Yeah. All right. I'll watch it.
Movies. Have you watched any movies this week?
I haven't been watching. Yeah, I haven't been watching any movies, I feel like. No.
I don't think
no
I
movies
have
for
either.
me.
Music. What music are you listening to?
Music, I've actually been listening to Sabrina Carpenter. I basically listened to all the songs on her EP, and I really like them. But yeah, I've been listening to Sabrina, and then my regular playlist that I listen to every day, and Christmas music, of course.
Yeah, I've been listening to a fangirl Christmas music playlist that I found. So it's Sabrina Carpenter's new thing, a bunch of Taylor Christmas songs, Ariana Grande. I think there's some Phoebe Bridgers on there too. I don't know. It's just a bunch of artists that I typically listen to, but they're Christmas songs and stuff that they've put out. So I've been listening to that. And then I haven't listened to this yet, but it just came out and I really want to. Tate McRae's new album just came out.
I've been seeing that.
Yeah, and I always see her on TikTok, and I always love her songs on TikTok, but I never actually go and listen to her music. So I think I want to do that. So everything that she's put out on TikTok with the album sounds really, really good. So it's on my list.
Yes, me as well, because her songs, I hear them on TikTok and they're so good. But I actually added a song by her to my playlist last night. I forget what it's called, but I'm slowly starting to go off of TikTok and listen to her.
Yeah, and actually start to listen to her music.
Mm-hmm. And
then for me, for books, I am reading 3 Holidays and a Wedding for my Christmas book of the year. I wanted to read more Christmas books, but I'm having trouble getting into it. I feel like it's going to be good. I just need to sit down and actually read it. And then I don't even know what I'm reading on my Kindle right now. That's all I got.
There you go. I haven't read anything. So the main portion of this episode, we're going to be talking about all of our favorites, as we mentioned earlier. And the first thing we're going to touch on is our favorite male character. You go first, please.
I feel like I don't even need to say it.
Yeah, you don't.
I think it's Tristan. Tristan Dumartel. I just love that guy. I just love him.
For sure.
No, obviously mine's Elijah. I mean, come on. What did you expect?
Yeah.
But who's yours?
Okay. I've always been so torn between Elijah and Klaus, and I told you for a period of time I've been Elijah, but if I'm talking about overall who I was more into, I feel I'd say Klaus, because I don't know, I just got more attached to him from Vampire Diaries too.
Yeah.
So this time I'm gonna say Klaus. Sorry, Addi.
It's fine. I'll keep Elijah all to myself. He's
Yes.
mine.
Yeah.
And then going along with that was our favorite male character. What's your favorite female character?
My favorite female character is Rebecca. I love Rebecca so much. Like, she slays the day every single time, and I love her. I love her as a
Yeah.
person. I love her as a character. She's my favorite.
Mine's also Rebecca. I feel like for a while it was a close tie between Haley and Rebecca, but then I kind of just
Mhm.
realized that the Rebecca never really gets on my nerves. I always agree with her. She always
Yes.
slays. And Haley, when Haley's with Jackson, she really gets on my nerves. Like I I just can't. She gets on my nerves so much and I love her, but when she's with Jackson, it just drove me insane. And Rebecca didn't have a moment where she drove me insane in the originals at least.
Yeah.
In Vampire Diaries, she was kind of annoying at times, but her character development by the time the original started, like I loved her. So,
So good.
yeah,
I feel
definitely
like she
Rebecca.
changed so much between Vampire Diaries and the originals. And like,
Yeah.
yeah, she never like pissed me off or anything. Like,
Yeah.
Haley would
She
be
always made the right
annoying.
choice. Yeah, Haley
Yes.
doesn't always make the right choices, but Rebecca, every choice that she made, I agreed with it. And I don't know.
All right, and next, this is a big one. I feel like everyone always likes to hear this is favorite ship. So who's your favorite ship?
My favorite ship, okay, I want to like say before I say what it is, it's not just because it has Elijah in it that it's my favorite ship.
Yeah.
So if you couldn't tell by that sentence, it's Elijah, Haley and Elijah. I just love them so much. Like, and again, obviously it's Elijah, but I think that their storyline, their like the like forbidden romance trope in the beginning, and like they kind of always have like a forbidden romance kind of vibe going on because then she gets with Jackson because of the whole pack thing, and I don't know, they just had like such a good storyline and such good chemistry, and like they're just perfect for each other. Like I don't know, which is why I hate past season, like middle of season 4. I hate it. I
Mhm.
will not watch past that point because I just don't like seeing them not together, but not together. Yeah. What's yours?
Yeah, no, mine's Elijah too. They just suit each other so well. I don't know. I feel like there's just always like a spark that like no one else in the show really had. Like there's always something there, like whether it was like tension or like just like the love they had for each other, and again like the kind of like forbidden love, like
Yeah.
something about
I just
that
feel like
like
they
ship.
just had, like, storybook, like, true love kinda thing
Yeah.
going on. They're my all-time favorite ship in the Vampire Diaries universe. Like, there's just something about
Really?
them, like yeah, just from, like, season 1, episode 1 of the originals, like, when they meet for the first time and, like, I don't know, I could literally talk
So
about them
good.
forever because I love them so much, which is kind of funny because I don't feel like I post about them online, like, at all. I don't I just love them so much. They're so cute, and yeah.
Yes, we love them.
Okay, moving on. This is also kind of a ship, but it's a little bit different. What's your favorite friendship in the
I
originals?
was actually thinking about this because I feel like there's not like as many like big friendships in the originals as there is in Vampire Diaries, but
Mhm.
I love Josh and Davina. They're
Yeah,
just
they're
such a
mine.
good friendship. I knew, yeah, I was like, this is probably Addie's favorite, but they're like a friendship that like I'll always remember and it like sticks out to me. And I just think like they're such like a cute, wholesome like friendship. They're always there for each other too. So,
Yeah, I think a lot of people, like, forget about them too because, like you said, there's not a lot of
mhm.
friendship in the originals in that kind of way because it's, like, mostly family. So,
Yeah.
you don't really see a lot of friendships, but I think, like, they're just I don't know, they're, like, the perfect best friends. They're always there for each other, like, they've always got each other's backs, and I love Josh. I think he's, like,
Yeah.
such an underrated character in general, and I also love Davina and think she's underrated, so they're, like, the perfect just combo. And they kind of both had like struggles going on in their lives, like with Josh being turned into a vampire and being under Marcel, but wanting, like the daylight ring and stuff, and her with her coven troubles and everything. It's like they both kind of just needed a friend and they managed to find each other, which is like what are the chances of like Josh being the vampire that Klaus was compelling and then Marcel had to bring him to Davina to, like break the compulsion? Like it just like it was
The
perfect, which I know
timing,
is
the
like
timing.
written to be that way, but it was great.
Yeah, I love it. Next is favorite season. What's your favorite season?
This is hard. Okay, definitely I want to say season 3. I love the Strix and like I don't know, it's a great storyline. I definitely like season 3 a lot. And then I really love season 1. It's so nostalgic. You got like they're all babies and they're so cute, and I don't know. I feel like it's a close tie between season 1 and season 3. I feel like I typically say season 3 just because I like the Strix and the prophecy storyline is really cool. I love my favorite rewatch would be season 1, but I think the best season is season 3. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, yeah, I always love like the early seasons and shows. And this is kind of hard for me too because I was gonna say 3, but now that I think about it, I want to say 1 because I actually think I watched season 1 like twice. And I don't know, it's just like you're getting introduced to everyone and it's not like I don't know. I I just really liked season 1 is what I'm gonna say.
I feel like this is an important moment for me to say that, like, I love the originals so much. Like, obviously, I love the TVDU, but, like, the originals is,
Yeah.
like, my show. I've seen it literally at least 15 times. That's a minimum, okay? And, like, I know, like, every word to episode 1 of the originals. I know a lot of the words to the entire first season of the originals, but, like, specifically
That'll
the
do
first
it.
episode, I can quote the entire thing. So, I just wanted to put that out there, like,
Yeah.
I
It's so
am
funny
obsessed.
because you love the originals and then like I love the Vampire Diaries. I don't know. It's just like you're so focused on originals and I like obviously we post about both, but I just
Yeah,
think it's
cause
so
like,
funny.
I watched The Vampire Diaries for the first time, and I loved it so much, and obviously I became obsessed with it, like, immediately, but
Mhm.
I always, like, really liked Elijah and Klaus, and I liked the storyline of the Michaelsons so much, so I was so excited when I finished TVD and could move on to the originals, and, like,
Yeah.
going into it, like, I already knew I was gonna love it, and it just, like, exceeded my expectations and, like, immediately became my number 1 show, like, of all time, and still is.
There you go.
Okay, moving on. We've got favorite episode. What would you say is like your favorite episode?
Okay, I have a few in mind.
Yeah,
I
me too.
can't remember the names of any of them or what seasons they're in because I've only watched the originals like once. But obviously, the iconic episode where they take the family picture. I just
Yeah.
loved everything about that episode and especially that scene. I like the final episode, even though it's really sad. Like, I feel like the final episodes of shows just like have a special place in my heart. But
Yeah.
I want to say the family photo one. It's just so iconic.
Definitely that one is like I have two, I think. Yeah, I would
Hmm.
say I have two. So definitely that episode. I think it's just such a cute episode. And in the originals, there's so much like pain. Like in TVD, you see the characters like happy moments a lot. Like they get a lot of happy moments, even if everything's like going rough. But in the originals, you don't see a lot of that. Like it's just a lot of like pain.
It's pain
So
and pain and pain.
yeah, that's really like one of the only episodes in the show where you just get to see everyone be happy and a lot was going on, but they kind of like got to go to that little house and just be a family for a minute and take that picture and do their little bonfire tradition. I just thought it was so sweet. And I hate that they burned the picture, but
I
whatever.
know. So
So
sad.
yeah, definitely that episode. And then my next one is like I think it's season 3, episode 2, but it's the Strix ball where they like go to like initiate Marcel into the Strix,
Oh,
and
I know what you're
Haley
talking
wears that
about.
the red dress, and like Elijah takes her to the
Yeah,
ball. And I know every like bit of that episode. It's so good. It's definitely one of my favorite rewatch episodes. Like,
it is so good.
what's your
There's
other
this
one?
one episode I have no like I just remember liking it so much, but I have no clue what season. I think it's in 3 or 4, but it's when Rebecca comes back and then Klaus like puts her in the coffin again and I just remember there being so much like drama in that episode, but I don't know what it is, but that's all I remember
There's a
and
lot
that
of
I
times
liked
that
it.
Rebecca comes back to life and gets
I
put in
know.
coffins. So
I
I couldn't
forget which
tell
one it
you.
is, but you
And
know.
both the times are in like season 3 and season 4. So
Yeah, I know it's
one
in one of the
yeah.
later seasons.
I have one more too I just thought of. Like, I don't know
Mhm.
why this isn't normally on my list, but I was talking about it with my mom earlier and it was like such a good episode because there's so many
Yeah.
good scenes in that episode. So it's in season 1 in the middle somewhere. It's the episode where they kidnap the girl that's linked to Haley. What's her name? I
Mm.
can't think of it all of a sudden.
I know exactly who you're talking about, but I can't think of the name either.
Jane Devereaux. No, Jane
Yeah.
Devereaux is the one that
Yeah.
died. Or no, it was Jane Devereaux.
It's one of them. It
Someone
wasn't
named
there 2 of
Devereaux.
them? Yeah, someone
Yeah, there
Devereaux.
was sisters and then there was a little kid. No, so
Yeah.
it was the aunt, but she got stabbed with like the needle by the crazy elder, and it made Haley get sick, and it was supposed to like kill the baby because they thought the baby was like evil and gonna kill all the witches in the quarter. Elijah gives Davina a spell to break the link so that Haley will be okay, and he like takes her into the pool, and they have like their little moment. That's like one of their first little moments.
Yes.
I love that scene so much. It's like my favorite Elijah scene. Okay, it's not my favorite Elijah scene, but it's a really, really good one.
One of them.
And in that same episode, then afterward, the aunt, Deborah, whatever her name is, she calls Elijah and she's like, don't let Klaus kill our elder. She's our last elder. And he's like, fine, I give you my word that Klaus won't kill her. And then he shows up to the church and Klaus is like, come on, brother, let me have my fun. And Elijah's like, oh, well, I said that you couldn't kill her. I didn't say anything of my own hand, okay? And so then he like snaps her neck and rips a bunch of people's heart out. Such a good scene. Such a good scene. Such a good episode. Yeah. Those are like my top 3, I would say.
Yeah. I feel like we can never pick one episode. Like there's always going to be more than one. Like there's I feel like it's like not favorite episode. It's favorite like top 3 episodes.
Yeah, it's top 3 episodes, I think. Yeah.
All right. And next we have a good one. It's our favorite villains.
Oh, this one's a little bit harder. I didn't think about this in advance because all of the villains in originals are really just like hated. Like in Vampire Diaries, they're villains, but you kind of love them because they're such good villains. But in the originals, they're even better villains, and there's no way to like them. Like I hate every single one of them.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. So I'm trying to think of each season. In season 2, it's their mom and Dahlia. Definitely not her. Don't like them.
Yeah, I feel like not like her.
Season 4, it's Marcel and the Hollow. Don't like them. Season 5 is the Hollow. Don't like.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about the Hollow.
Okay, I've decided on mine. Mine's Lucian Castle.
Yeah.
He slayed. I'm just saying, like, if he never became a villain, he probably would have been like one of my favorite characters. Like he was.
Yeah.
I loved him. Like I almost wish that he hadn't become a villain. Like I know it was necessary, but it kind of would have been fun because he was like such like a sarcastic guy, and like when he flirted with Freya and stuff, I don't know, it was fun. He was my favorite. He had the most likable qualities and was a good villain.
Yeah.
Like likable in like a sarcastic way, like Kai. Not likable in like he's a good person. You know what I'm saying?
I get you.
Yeah. So
I can't think of a villain because I genuinely hate them all.
Do you want me to list off some of the other ones?
Yeah.
It can be someone that you hate. You just think that they're a good villain.
Like I want to say Klaus, but I also don't want to say Klaus because like I'm saying he's my favorite male character, but like
he is still like, a villain in the originals. Yeah.
I want to say like he's my favorite villain. Like he just does such a good job of like playing that bad guy.
Yeah.
Like when he has to.
Yeah, I think we look over the fact that Klaus is still a villain in the majority of the originals. Like,
yeah, like
when he put the curse on Haley and the Crescent Pack to make them only human once a full moon, and when he killed the girl, when he killed Gia, like for no reason, like he did some screwed up things even in the beginning of the originals. So, like he had his moments, but he was still a villain until like season 3 or 4.
I feel like people brush over it too because he's also, like, if you think about it, like, he's better than in the originals. Like, in Vampire Diaries, he's just, like, pure evil. In originals, we see him, like, with his family. So, like, we kind of see, like, his better side. But, like, there is times, as you were saying in the originals, where he's so bad. Like, just killing people for no reason.
In Vampire Diaries, you see, like, a little bit of the softer side of him, like, with Caroline. But he's mostly a villain. You just occasionally see it with Caroline.
Yeah.
But in the originals, because there's hope and Elijah's like finally kind of getting through to Klaus, you see a little bit more, but he's still definitely a villain, in my opinion. So I think it's like cool to say that he's your favorite villain.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going with Klaus.
And next, I kind of like already touched on this, but favorite storyline. What would you say is your favorite storyline?
I feel like there's so many good ones, but
there are the originals. That's why. Okay,
even character storylines.
The Michelsons like just have such a good backstory. Like I love the Salvatore brothers and I love Elena to a certain extent, but their background stories have nothing on like the Michelsons and Marcel. And
it's crazy.
Davina and Josh, like their background story, like just so good.
There's so we can tell she loves the originals.
Can you tell?
I want to say honestly, I really liked the DeMartell storyline, like Rebecca and what's his name? I just said it before.
It's Aurora and Tristan DeMartell.
Oh, not Rebecca. That's her name in real life. That's her name in real life. Aurora and Tristan. I really like their storyline. And I also love Hope storyline, even though it's like it doesn't have the whole like backstory like the original family. We get to see her like grow up and like
I mean, the
honestly like
originals
Haley's
basically
life with
is her
her.
backstory.
Yeah, that's true. But I just love her storyline, and we get to watch her grow up and like see how all the characters like influence her, and I
Yeah.
think it's great. I love
I
Hope.
Yeah, I agree with that one too, just because like it literally is her storyline. Like I've never
I
thought about it like
know.
that. But her being like the tribrid, and I feel like because in Legacies, I don't really like how they continued her storyline, but I like it had so much potential and like she had such a good backstory. So
I feel like Young Hope, like that storyline was so good. Like I
yeah.
loved it. I really did.
And then I would say mine. I feel like because it's the originals and the Michelsons, all of the storylines go back so far. Like as much as I hate the Hollow, like the way that she created the werewolf curse, like and how that goes back is really cool. And I
Yeah.
love the Strix. Like I said, I like that whole season. I like that whole storyline. The way that like they were compelled to be the Michelsons, and so this is them coming back together for their revenge. Like it was just really thought out and really well put together by like the writers. Like that was really
Yeah.
cool. There was a lot of like thought, like they had their reasons for being angry, and they were all like they hated each
Yeah.
other too, but they were coming together to like fight the Michelsons. So even though they're villains, it was pretty cool.
Yeah. It's crazy to think about. This is kind of off topic, but now that you said that, like I just remember watching the originals and like all the thought and like writing that like comes into this and making all those like storylines with the villains and everything, and like what impressed me the most was like how they make all the witch stuff, like all the spells
Mm-hmm.
and all like that is crazy. So like I have so much respect for the writers because I was just in awe. I was like, how do they do this? How do they connect everything? Like how do they make it all make sense?
Yeah,
It's
I think
crazy.
my favorite storyline is just everything in the originals, like,
Yeah.
even the Michelsons, like, it's the most prominent storyline, but it's so good, like, the original vampires, where they came from, how they became
So
vampires,
good.
like, they're the first, and this is where they are now, they're trying to pull their family back together, and they have this miracle baby, like, the entirety of the originals as a whole is just, like, the best storyline, like
Well,
okay,
there's
other
your
yeah,
answer. The whole
yeah,
show.
just the whole show, yeah. That's not what I went into this question thinking I was gonna say, but definitely the whole show.
That's what you came out with.
That's what I got.
All right, so that wraps up all of our favorites for the originals. Now we're going to kind of just move on to some other quicker topics. So here we go. The first one we have is, are we picking Vampire Diaries or originals? I think we
I
already
think
answered this, but
yeah. I think we already kinda touched on this, and this is probably pretty obvious. I'm picking the originals over TVD.
I'm picking TVD over the originals. But I love both. Like,
Yeah. I love both too. I just like I said, like, the storylines in the originals just and I like the Michelsons more, so it just kind of is pretty easy choice for me, but
there we go. I feel like since you love Elijah, like you're gonna pick Michael Sins, and then since I love Damon, like I'm a
yeah.
Salvatore girly.
But also, like I said, I love the storyline of the Michelsons. Like, I just think it has so much more depth. Like, not that I don't love TVD and not that like you're
No,
not
yeah.
valid for picking TVD because it's
No,
still
that
so
makes
good.
sense.
I just like I love the depth of the originals. Like everything is so deep and there's just so much like substance to it. I don't know. I just
Yeah.
I'm very obsessed with it.
There we go.
All right, and then next we have this is kind of in the favorites category, but it's least favorite. Who's your least favorite character?
I actually didn't really think about this.
And
Yeah,
like probably
probably.
not villains just because like you're not supposed to like
Okay,
them.
least favorite character. I'm gonna stick to like main characters. Oh my gosh, I don't know. Can you answer first? I need to
Yeah, I'll
think.
go. I I need to think about it too. Like if I'm not
Yeah,
doing
wait.
villains, like of like the main characters, I know a lot of people like this character, so and a lot of people don't like this character, but honestly, I
Say it.
didn't like Camille that much. I really don't like
Okay, I
Camille
was
at
gonna
all.
say that too, I think.
And this is like I love Leah Pipes, the girl that plays Cammy. I love her so much. She's so cool. But Camille's character just like she got on my nerves a lot and she like
Oh my
and
gosh, and I
obviously
did not like her as a vampire
oh my god. No, as a
at
vampire, it's
all.
like as a human, like I didn't really love her. Like she got on my nerves, but I didn't hate her. But as a vampire, it just like heightened every annoying thing about her. Like Caroline turned into a vampire and it heightened all of the good things about her and brought those out. Cammy became a vampire and it heightened everything I didn't like about her, just like
So bad.
200%. So
Yeah.
like I
Okay,
don't
like
hate her, but she just I didn't love her. She
she
got on my
gets on
nerves.
our nerves, yeah. I thought of my character. I don't know why I didn't think about this. I don't like Jackson. And
Oh
I
my god.
don't
Dude,
like the
dude.
priest.
How did I forget about
Yeah,
Jackson? It's
how
because
do we
I hate him.
forget?
No. I hate Jackson so much that I just erase him from my memory. You guys don't understand the hatred I have for that man. Oh my god. We were about to
He's
get through
just
the
like,
episode without me bringing up Jackson and going on a rant about it. You guys, the hatred I have for that man, he is like the worst. Oh my god. Like, he had good intentions, but he was just not like, no. Like,
I
the
like
way
how
he
you're
like
looking over
show
here and like
no,
talking.
I'm
You're
talking to the
going off.
invisible camera. I'm talking to the invisible camera right now, okay?
Oh my god, this is so
Like,
funny.
the way he showed up and was like,
Yeah.
we were supposed to be betrothed, like acting
Oh
like
my
Haley
god,
had like
his
some
voice.
obligation. Oh my god, his voice, the way he stands, his haircut,
It's just
and
his
then he'll just,
character.
we were supposed to be betrothed. My mom said that I was gonna marry you. And then he'll be like, Oliver called me so dumb growing up for like waiting for you. And I was like, yeah, waiting for this girl you'd never met. Like, just say you couldn't get a girlfriend without
I
saying
didn't
it.
like any of that background info.
No.
I was like, boy, get out. She probably doesn't care. Like,
What if she was like dead or something, or like never showed up? Like, you literally waited your entire life for this girl that may have never showed up. And then like she shows
I
up
think it
and you
was
just act like she's
stupid.
obligated to marry you? Like, oh my god, no.
Jail.
No, and there's one thing, like after they get engaged and they're like decide to go forward with the wedding, he says something and I feel like people never bring it up, but I always bring it up because
What?
it makes me laugh so hard. Okay,
What'd he
so they're
say?
like they're sitting like by a fire or something, and he goes, I've done a lot of terrible things in my life, Haley Marshall, but forcing you to love me ain't gonna be one of them.
What? Why'd you get that word for word?
Like, I'm sorry, what did you just say?
That accent is so good.
Forcing you to love me ain't gonna be one of them. Like, I'm sorry. Pause. Can we take a step back? Can we take multiple steps back? Can we run a mile the other direction? Like, no way he said that.
We don't like Jackson.
Yeah, and then the way
Okay.
Haley was just unfazed. Like, he literally just admitted that he was trying to force you to love him. And like there's so many other things, but he just makes me furious. No.
Yeah, we just went on a little rant.
Guys, I could do an entire 30-minute episode about how much I hate Jackson and all of my reasons for hating him and why he's the worst character on the planet. I could go on and on. You know what? I think he goes in the villain category at this point in my mind. Like,
at this point, yeah, he's a villain. So
no, I needed to put that out there so you guys can understand the hatred I have for Jackson. Like, I don't know that there's another character on the planet that like is not a villain that I hate that as much as I hate him. Like, I need to take some deep breaths. I'm getting riled up about it.
Okay.
Anyway, what were you gonna say about it?
Where were we? Let's get back to the episode.
Hope you guys enjoyed my rant.
I don't think we've done this before, but we're going to be ranking the seasons from, let's do best to worst.
Okay, best to worst. So I'm gonna say, even though 1 and 3 tie for my favorites, I'm gonna say season 3 is the best with like the storyline and everything. Then I'm gonna say 1. So 3, 1, 2, 4, 5.
Yeah.
3, 1, 2, 4, 5.
I'm gonna do 1, 3, 2, 4, 5. I didn't really like season 5 at all.
Yeah.
Or 4. But yeah, I'm just gonna switch the 1 and the 3.
Like, seasons 4 and 5 were good. I just didn't enjoy them because they were really upsetting emotionally to me.
They were very upsetting.
That's why they're being ranked last.
I just remember watching season 3. I was like, wow, like that was so good. And then I went into season 4 and like it just like kind of went a little downhill for me.
Yeah. Like, the Hollow storyline is good. I just hate the Hollow. Yeah. And those last 2 seasons caused me a lot of emotional trauma, so they're being ranked last. Even though they're good seasons, I'm just not. No. Moving on, what would you say is your like most underrated character that you like?
Okay. I was actually thinking about this before, which is why I wanted to mention it, and it's Vincent. Like, I actually like Vincent a lot. And I feel like he's just so underrated, like, and people don't realize like how much of the show he's in.
Yeah, I feel like nobody talks about him.
No one talks about him, and I was like, he's in like majority of the show and plays such a big part in it, and I really like him. He pissed me off sometimes, but I think he's underrated.
I think he's probably a little underrated, but I didn't always like him either. Like
Yeah.
I respected that he was always like trying to be out for the greater good, even if he didn't make the right choice. He was always like
Mhm.
trying to be there for the good of the people and all of the witches and everyone that wasn't having a say in what the Michaelsons or Marcel and everyone else was doing.
Yeah.
So I respect that. I think I've said this before on the podcast, to be honest, but my most underrated is probably Davina and Josh. I kind of touched on that earlier, but
Yeah.
I think
I
that like
agree.
I don't feel like they're underrated anymore because I talk about them a lot, but I feel like Josh is also someone that other than us, people forget about a lot, and he's such a good character. Like I feel like Davina, she's not underrated, but she is overhated. People hate on her too much, but
Yeah.
Josh is just underrated in general. So I would say Josh probably. I love him. He slays.
Next, we have least favorite ship. We said our favorite ships, but I feel like we have to touch on our least favorite ships in the show.
And like this goes for like ships that like are actually liked, not like Aurora and Klaus.
Yeah.
Like ships
That's
that
like
people
irrelevant.
like that I just don't like. And I think it goes back to Cammy, to be honest. I'm gonna say Klaus and Cammy. Like I
Yeah.
liked that she brought out the good in him, I guess. But I liked him with Caroline, I guess. I don't know that I have a least favorite. I'm trying to think.
There's
I mean,
not a
Haley
lot of
and
ships, I
Jackson.
feel like.
Haley and oh my god, no, I thought of
Okay,
one.
yeah.
I thought of one. Okay. Klaus and Haley.
Ah,
People always
classic.
like I will see people like genuinely shipping Claylee, and I'm like, no, they are platonic. No, they're not romantic. Like that is totally
Not
platonic.
romantic, yeah.
I know that they have a child together, but that was before they knew each other. Okay, they've evolved. It's like Haley definitely does not see Klaus like that. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
respectfully. If you like them, that's your choice. But I just think that they're so platonic. Like I see them as like siblings, other than the fact that they have a child together. Okay, don't use that
Yeah.
against me. But I see them as like family, you know?
They are like family. Like there were moments when they were cute and I was like, "Oh, like I feel like there's points where he like actually did really love her, but
Yeah, but as a
yeah.
friend, like as family, like he loved
Yeah,
her as the mother
more
of his
as
child,
family.
not as like someone he was in love with, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel
That's
like they could have had potential, but like again, like
like I don't want to say too strong for that, but like she did not have the patience for Klaus's attitude or behavior or the
yeah.
way he acted like a villain, like Caroline and Cammy took the time to like try and see the better in him, but Haley was like no. Like they had a fling and she was like looking for someone like good, like just
Yeah.
100%. Not that Elijah is like perfect. I'm not saying that either. She just like matched better with him, I think. And I don't know. I don't think she saw him like that after. That's my
That's
thoughts.
valid. Yeah, I think I'm gonna say for my least favorite ship, like obviously I'm not a big fan of Haley and Klaus, but Cammy and Klaus, like I know they had like a big part in the first few seasons, but I just never saw that going anywhere. And yeah, Cammy annoyed me so much sometimes, so that's
Yeah,
definitely my least
because she
favorite
had
ship.
like a thing with Marcel too, but I liked Marcel better with Rebecca. I
Oh
didn't really
yeah,
like
for
Cammy with
sure.
anyone. Like
Wait, I really did like Marcel with Rebecca.
I
They're
feel like
so cute.
we need to at least mention them slightly, but
Yeah.
I just Cammy and Klaus, like I think she was good for him, but I wanted to see him with Caroline, obviously.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
moving on, our last bit, we gotta finish off the episode by talking about the finale. What are your thoughts on it?
Obviously, it was so sad. I thought the build up in the finale was pretty good. Um, but it was like so sad. Like I definitely cried at the finale. I feel like it could have been like a tiny bit better, but I don't know. I think just the ending, how it was Elijah and Klaus like ending it together, like that was just a moment like
Yeah, I agree with
amazing.
that. But I just think that like they should have built up to the finale differently because there were so many plot holes. Like Elijah also dying, just like I know that Haley was gone and so he didn't really, but also like Elijah would have stuck around for his niece. Like he would have stuck around for Hope.
Yeah.
It didn't make any sense that like he gave that up. Like Hope always mattered so much to him, even if near the end their
Yeah.
relationship wasn't as good because of what happened in season 5. Like that just like Hope always meant so much to him. Like it doesn't make any sense why he would
Now that I'm thinking
do
about
that.
it, you're right. Like it kind of doesn't make sense. Like obviously like I like how they ended it together. Like I don't like it, but you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, like
it
it
was
was
just like
like
a
a
good
good point.
thing to do.
But there
But
should have
like
been like it should have made more sense. Like, there was just too many plot holes. Like, they could have gone to that ending with, like, other stuff leading up to it. There was just a few too many plot holes for me, but, like, if it had ended that way, obviously, I still would have been upset, but I would have, like, I appreciate it. Like, the finale of TVD is such a good finale. Like, I know people,
It's
like,
really
say, like,
good.
it's bad, but it's such a good finale. It closes off the series so well, and even though Stefan dying didn't also really make a whole lot of sense either, like, it felt fitting. Like, one of the brothers sacrificing themself in the end, and then, like, the scene at the end where you saw all of, like, them coming back as, like, ghosts or whatever and, like, watching over everyone, like, it was just such a good finale. And in the originals, you don't get that. Like, 1, it doesn't make sense, and 2, they kill each other, and then the screen just goes black, and that's the
Yeah,
end
it's
of the
kind of
show.
over, and I was like that's what I was
Like,
gonna
that's
say.
it.
The ending after that, I was like, okay, the buildup was fine, but, like, the ending, that's all we got? Like,
Yeah, it was Vampire Diaries had closure. Like, yeah, it was sad, and the whole show was coming to an end, which was sad, but they brought everyone back together, they closed it off. You got to see Stefan and Damon reuniting in the afterlife, all those years later or whatever. You got to see Elena reuniting with her family, and, like, they did such
aw,
a good job of closing the show off, and, like, you got closure, and in the
yeah.
originals, you do not get closure.
Bam, we're gonna destroy you, and then it's gonna be a black screen, so
It's like, "Oh, one character's dying. Now 2 characters are dying." And then also, like, all 3 of the main characters die in the last season. Like,
it's
I just
crazy.
honestly, the entirety of season 5, like, just everything every time they did something, I was like, "Why? Like, what was the reason? What was the reason for that?"
What was the reason?
That's just, like, my total for season 5 is, like, just why? Why?
Just they
Why?
made us question too many things in season 5.
Anyways, that's all we have to talk to you guys about. So
Yeah.
also, we wanted to mention, I kind of mentioned this in the update last week, that if you guys want to see any recap content from the convention, go to our social media accounts. We posted so many videos on there. So
Yes.
if you're looking for any of that kind of stuff, go check that out. My Instagram is addi.asks and my TikTok is addison.brienne. Grace.
My TikTok and Instagram is Live Love Ian Somerhalder.
And then the podcast accounts are notyouravagefangirl.pod on TikTok and Instagram. So go check all of those out. You'll find all of that kind of stuff there. And, just follow us if you want to.
Also, if you guys want us to do another episode on, like, just ships or, like, friendships or whatever, please let us know. Maybe we'll post a poll on our story to, like, figure that out, because we did that for the Vampire Diaries, so maybe we'll do that for this. And that's all we have for you today. We hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.